What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 20 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. So we are on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get 20 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon. Should be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $750 just yesterday. Another member who won $495 for the 5th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description. So go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group. And I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So first pick we're going to be talking about is none other than Isaiah Collier, and this one is for 9.5 assists and this one is for less. Now we look at Isaiah Collier, we've actually seen him go on the under in 2 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the New Orleans Pelicans. Now we look at the New Orleans Pelicans, we do see that they rank 26th when it comes to assists allowed. Now the reason why we do like the under, however, for this situation here is due to the fact that when it comes to this matchup, Isaiah Collier is a guard, and what we are expecting from this matchup is due to the fact that the Pelicans do a really good job, especially against guards, at restricting assists. So we definitely see that being a big case coming into this matchup. Now he has had a couple of games where he's gone on the over, like the most recent one against Minnesota, but it has been much against, easier teams that have been able to give up a lot of assists to the guard position. So Collier has been able to take advantage of that, and although his average over the last 5 is a 9.4, it's still under this line. So that's a big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here. He has gone a little bit lucky having easier matchups, but now against a little bit more of a tougher matchup per position basis, we should see someone like Collier go on the under here. So for that reason, we are liking the under for this situation here. And when it comes to Collier, we do like the under due to the fact that when we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have him favored for the under as well. So we are going to be following with what the bookies are saying there. So Isaiah Collier, 9.5 assists for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about none other than Kelly Olynyk. Now Kelly Olynyk, great player, and this one is for 3.5 assists and this one is for less. Now we look at Kelly Olynyk, we've actually seen him go on the under in 4 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Utah Jazz. Now, when we look at the Utah Jazz, obviously we are talking about the same matchup here, but the Utah Jazz do actually rank 28th when it comes to assists allowed. So they rank very low as well. However, the reason why we do like the under for this situation is that Utah actually do a really good job at restricting assists to the actual big man position, whether that's forward or even whether that's center. However, a big reason why we are sticking to the under, however, is that Kelly Olynyk doesn't really have the highest usage rate in the assist department. He doesn't really have that high of a usage rate, and we definitely have seen that over the last 5 games as he's going on the under 4 out of the last 5. His average over the last 5 as well is only 3, so significantly below this line. And he did have a game against Phoenix where he did go on the over. That was a little bit of an outlier game. It's brought this line a little bit too high for our liking, that now there's a lot more value actually to go on the under. Kelly Olynyk's play style isn't really focused on assists. He has out there to get boards, maybe even a couple of points here and there. And we also look at this Pelicans team, we are also expecting them to actually tank due to the fact that a lot of these lowercase teams, whether it's New Orleans Pelicans, the Jazz, much others, we could see their starters, yes, play a couple of great minutes here and there, but we are expecting them to rather get taken off early or not get the same amount of usage rate that they usually see. So for that reason, and if that is the reason, we do very much like the under for this situation for someone like Kelly Olynyk, especially of someone of his caliber who doesn't really have that high of a usage rate and also faces off against Utah, who do rank really well at restricting assists to that position. So for that reason, we are liking the under for this situation here. So Kelly Olynyk, 3.5 assists for less, I think is a great pick. Now getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about Coby White. So Coby White, another great player. This one is for 22.5 points and this one actually is for less. Now look at Kobe White. We've actually seen him go in the under in 4 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than Indiana Pacers. Now we look at Indiana Pacers. We do see that they rank 20th when it comes to points allowed. However, we do like the under for this situation due to the fact that when it comes to Kobe White, we just definitely have seen his usage rate fall quite a bit over the last couple of games, and we definitely are relating that to not just tanking from the Chicago team, but on top of that, Kobe White just hasn't had the same amount of usage rate ever since, the All-Star break, and also, with some slight adjustments they have made to the Chicago team. Obviously, they lost players like Levine, and for that reason, we're all expecting Kobe White's usage rate to actually increase, but we actually have seen the opposite of that happen and seen other players in the Chicago team actually take some of the usage rate away from Kobe White. So for that reason, we are liking the under for this situation here. His average over the last 5 is 17.8, so significantly below this line, which works out in our favor there. So all signs really do point towards the under for this one, and that's why this one is definitely a no-brainer to us. So Kobe White for 22.5 points for less, I think is a great pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about none other than Yves Missy. So Yves, great player. This one is for 8.5 rebounds, and this one is for less. Now look at Yves. We've actually seen him go on the under in 1 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Utah Jazz. Now, as you all know, we did talk about this matchup recently, and when it comes to this matchup, Utah Jazz, although they do rank pretty low in certain categories, they do actually rank 7th when it comes to rebounds allowed. So very, very high, and that is a big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here. When it comes to someone like Yves, a big reason why he has gone on the over in multiple games over the last 5 is due to the fact that he has faced off against easier matchups. Now that he faces off against Utah, who do rank 7th, especially ranked very high at restricting rebounds to the center position, we definitely see Yves struggling and going on the under in this one. Now, on top of that, this Utah Jazz and New Orleans Pelicans game, although Jazz is a bit of a faster paced team than New Orleans Pelicans, we aren't expecting Pelicans to come up to Utah's pace. So we are actually expecting the opposite. Pelicans should actually slow down the ball game quite a lot. So we should see a similar amount of usage rate, from this New Orleans Pelicans team. So nothing really that much extra. So for that reason, we still do like the under for this situation here. So Yves Missy, 8.5 rebounds for less, I think is a great pick. Now getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about Filipowski. So Filipowski, this is also from the Utah Jazz and also Pelicans game. Guys, I know there's a lot of games, but this game just has a lot of value and a lot of great picks. So like I said, you don't need to put them all in one because I don't think you actually can. But, there are still great picks. And this one is Filipowski for 14.5 points. And this one actually is for less. So this one's a great one as well. He's gone on the under in 4 out of the last 5 games, and they face off against the Pelicans. Now, Pelicans do rank 26 when it comes to points allowed, but obviously the matchup, Pelicans do a really, really good job at restricting, the points from the actual center position. So we definitely see that being a big case coming into this matchup. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation, as Pelicans should look to restrict Kyle as much as they can. Now, Kyle as well, doesn't really have the highest usage rate in the points department. Yes, he does score pretty well. 14 is the line, but his average over the last 5 is only 12. So definitely not close enough to this line. He had an outlier game against Portland. Portland are an easy scoring team. That's why Kyle was able to take advantage of that. But now he should come back down to reality, and he has come back to reality over the last 2 games. But I think the line has remained high, and that's why we are still sticking to the under for this one. So Filipowski, 14.5 points for less, I think is a great pick. So getting into the next pick, we're going to be talking about none other than Anfernee Simons, and this one is a great one for points, rebounds, and assists for 29.5, and this one is for less. Now look at Anfernee Simons. We've actually seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. And when we look at the matchup, they do face off against the Cleveland Cavaliers. As you all know, Cleveland Cavaliers has had themselves a great season. They do rank 10th when it comes to points allowed. On top of that, when it comes to assists allowed, we do see that the Cleveland Cavaliers do rank pretty well as well, as they rank 7th, and then rebounds allowed, they rank 9th. So this one's just kind of a no-brainer to us. Cleveland ranked very, very high in all 3 categories, and for someone like Anfernee Simons, we actually see him going on the under here. Now, when it comes to someone or like a team like Cleveland are also a pretty slow-paced team. Portland are a little bit faster, but when it comes to Cleveland, we are expecting them to slow down the pace of this game drastically, so we should see Portland come down to Cleveland's pace. And if that is the case, Anfernee Simons may not get the same amount of usage rate that he usually does see, which is why we are liking the under for this situation here. And it definitely has shown his average over the last 5 is only 27, so it's not really the best. And we are also thinking that with Cleveland's great defensive strategies that they have had throughout all season, it will continue on into this next one. Portland are also looking to, actually tank pretty much at this point, and if they are continuing to tank, we may not see Simons get the same amount of usage rate that he usually does see. He could get taken off the game early, which should lead to the under for this one.